Basketball. Basketball. We love basketball.
Wait, it's love? I only like basketball.
You don't love basketball?
This has been our basketball week. We went to Kelsey's first ever NBA game.
Yeah.
We
Timberwolves, for anyone curious.
We watched Double Teamed.
Yeah.
The basketball DCOM.
Yeah, probably the most basketball DCOM.
And there's actually quite a few. That's a competitive category.
If not, like Full Court Miracle's also up there.
Well, like High School Musical.
That's less so, I would say.
And High School Musical 3.
That's way less.
And High School Musical 2.
Oh my god, the least.
Well, how many of those have a song about basketball versus this movie? How many?
Basketball. Really, just the first one is mostly about basketball out of the 3 High School Musicals. We're not here to talk about High School Musical. We're here to talk about Double Teamed.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Tall Girl on Netflix?
It's basically that.
You don't need
2 of them.
Yeah. Is this still the cold open?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
We're the DCOM Duo
podcast.
Yes, this is our podcast. We watch every Disney Channel original movie for the second time because we've seen them all before because we're crazy.
Yeah, I've seen Double Teamed double the times.
Yeah, and then we talk about them. And today is one that we're actually very excited to talk about.
Yeah, not even because this is a spectacular movie. We just find it silly.
This is like, I might be wrong about this. This is the type of movie which is, to me, why we started this podcast.
Because, like, who's even heard of this movie?
Yeah, like, if you didn't grow up loving Double Teamed, maybe you were a basketball kid growing up and loved it. I didn't know this movie existed.
Yeah, I had never heard of it before.
But there's so much stupidity in this movie.
Yeah.
For a movie that, honestly, generically is pretty competent.
Yeah, no, the movie isn't bad.
Fine.
It's fine.
It is not great. It is not bad. But there's a couple things, like a lot of the basketball action, that is very dumb.
It's silly.
And then we get some characters just like making pretty good zings at each other, and it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's Double Team. Thank you for watching.
You make that joke like every week, I swear.
False. We do episodes every other week.
So we don't have fan mail again.
We do not have fan mail.
Which is okay. But if you would like to let us know your thoughts on any of the DCOMs that we cover or are going to cover, you can email us at the DCOM.
Or on non-DCOM topics.
Sure. If you just want to chat. The DCOMduo@gmail.com is where you can best contact us. We also have TikTok. You can comment there.
Mm-hmm. Kelsey's been doing a really good job of getting TikToks out.
I mean, it's like way behind our current episodes, but that's okay.
It's catching up. It's some highlights of our podcast.
Yeah.
Some things that we highlight that we find silly.
That we find funny, yeah. Okay. You ready to talk about Double Team?
I think we are ready to talk about them. Any other generic thoughts on the movie you want to get out beforehand?
No.
I feel like we're going to cover everything as we get to it.
Yeah. All right, you got the factos today.
Yes, I did the factos, Kelsey did the notes, and I had a special little surprise that I think we'll reveal at the very end of the podcast that I worked on. Or should I
you don't want to...
Should I mention it now?
I guess it does make sense to just go over it all at once, so yeah. Up to you.
I can say what it is. I took stats on every player that played. Generically, this is a basketball movie, there's a lot of basketball action. And I took it upon myself to watch each player and try and figure out how many points they scored, how many shots they made and missed, and everything like that.
Yeah, you have a spreadsheet.
I had a couple theories I wanted to test out from this movie. And, we'll go over it all at the end because that's when we'll have the best picture of it all. But just a forewarning, I'm not confident the stats are perfect, but I am confident they're pretty good. And I only really calculated for characters that are named. So there are people that are missing.
Yeah.
All right. With that, let's get into the factos.
Woohoo.
Double Teamed was released January 18th, 2002. That's the 35th DCOM. I think we talked about another DCOM pretty recently. And I was like, wow, 35 feels late for 2002, like January 2002. But it's just there were a lot of DCOMs like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, they really started just pumping them out.
That is their quantity over quality era.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The director is the person I'm pretty sure we've covered the most in this whole podcast so far. Dwayne Dunham. He also did Halloween Town, 13th Year, Ready to Run, Right on Track, and Tiger Cruise.
Is that just the first Halloween Town?
Just the first Halloween Town.
So this is the third movie that we're covering that Dwayne has directed, and we're only 29 movies in.
Yep. So just check out the Halloween Town episode or the Right Run episode for more him, but a quick extra talk about him. He directed Homeward Bound and Little Giants, and he was the main editor on Return of the Jedi. So he's got cred, but we don't need to talk too much about him. All right, now moving on to the cast. Playing the role of Heather Burge. This movie, if you don't know, is about two twin basketball girls, and this is one of the twins.
Yep.
Is Poppy Monroe. She's done very little outside of this. She had an unnamed role in Tiger Cruise.
She's like an extra in Tiger Cruise.
She was in one episode of CSI Miami.
Ooh. And
she did voices in the Terminator video games.
Wow.
That's like what I found as highlight. Playing Heidi Burge was Annie McElwain. Those two are not related in any way. They don't need to be. They're fraternal twins.
They're both tall and blonde and look kind of similar. But yeah, they don't have to look exact because they're not supposed to be identical twins.
She also has done a single episode of CSI Miami. I believe those two have done, it was the same episode, but I'm not 100%.
Were they twins in the episode?
Maybe, I don't know. Also did like an episode of Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and Opposite Sex. These are just shows that I've barely heard of. I've heard of Saved by the Bell. I don't know how much I've heard of The New Class. So that's that. Playing Nicky Williams, the diva of the basketball team, is Teal Redmond, who's best known for her recurring role on Gilmore Girls. She's Louise, who's in 34 episodes. I'm not a Gilmore Girls fan, so someone can tell me if that's like a giant character or a nobody, but 34 episodes felt pretty significant.
Yeah, that feels like a lot.
She also was in Dumb and Dumber When Harry Met Lloyd, and she was in 6 episodes of CSI, one of them being CSI Miami.
Oh.
So everyone so far has been in CSI Miami. Just saying.
It's pretty fun.
Pretty cool. Playing Larry Burge, that's the dad, is Nick Searcy. He's a decently big character actor.
Okay.
Like he has a decent amount of credits to his name. Like he's in Fried Green Tomatoes, The Fugitive, Castaway, The Ugly Truth, Moneyball, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, The Shape of Water.
Wow.
Like he's never a big role. He's a character actor.
Yeah, but like those are pretty good movies.
Big movies. Yeah. There's big stuff in there. So he also did one episode of CSI Miami. Playing Madison Strickland was Tanya Goot. And
she did a good job.
Basically nothing, says this movie. Like there was like one other credit and it was on a short film that didn't matter. Not even CSI Miami.
It wasn't CSI Miami.
It was not CSI Miami.
I guess she didn't get the memo.
I really was hopeful everyone in this cast was going to be in CSI Miami, but no. Playing the coach, Wendell Yoshida.
I did not even know his name. I just called him Coach.
Yeah, Wendell Yoshida.
Cool.
Based on a real person as well.
Wow, he was actually their coach.
Yes.
I think we've said this yet. This is based on a true story.
Based on a true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Joey Miyashima. He is the principal in High School Musical 1 and 3.
Super fun.
He also has a cameo in Dad Napped. So theoretically, he's in 4 DCOMs. We don't really count High School Musical 3 as a DCOM because it actually isn't.
But we do for our purposes.
Yeah. But like he's low-key in 4 DCOMs, which is kind of wild.
That's pretty fun. I think I do remember him now in High School Musical. He's like there when Gabriella is like first getting into the school talking with her mom. So yeah, that's fun.
His biggest role is probably Toshio in Karate Kid Part 2.
Like, is that the original Karate Kid or was
the original series of Karate Kid?
Yeah, because
the second one.
This movie's from 2002, so you gotta assume back. It was like, when did Karate Kid come out? 90s?
Something like that. I don't know.
80s?
I wasn't a Karate Kid kid.
And neither was I.
But it was the original run. I do know that.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Otherwise, a bunch of minor roles, nothing that really stuck out to me. And then lastly, for who I'm covering, is Mary Burge, that's the mom, is played by Mackenzie Phillips. As a child actress, like she was in American Graffiti, which is just one of the most influential films of all time. Like got George Lucas's start as a filmmaker, really invented the summer hit blockbuster, and like she was one of the main actors in that. So that's kind of cool. But really became a star on the sitcom One Day at a Time, which I hadn't heard about. But like she was on that for years and years. She starred on an old Disney Channel show, So Weird. That's what's going on.
I think we've mentioned that one before.
That was going on like around the release of this film, so I'm guessing that's why she was here. Otherwise, a lot of other TV appearances. A couple more Disney ones, like she was on Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law. So,
which is basically Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah. She also toured as a singer with the new Mamas and the Papas. That's like the reformed BAM of the Mamas and the Papas. Huh. She was just a touring member of them.
That's fun.
So she sang. Yeah. And then finally wanted to cover the real people.
Yeah. So again, based on a true story, there were actually some tall twin girls, the Burges, that play basketball. Real people. Yeah. This was also the era of DCOMs where they just loved making movies based on true stories. It's like Miracle on Lane 2 was based on a true story. Was True Confessions based on a true story?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, basically Double Teamed and Miracle on Lane 2.
So Heather Burge was probably the better basketball player of the two sisters. I feel decently confident saying that. In 1993, she was both of them went to the University of Virginia for all 4 years of college and played basketball all 4 years. In 1993, Heather Burge was the ACC Atlantic Coast Conference Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. She helped Virginia win 3 ACC championships and make 3 Final Fours. They never won it all during her time, but like that's a really good time. She's a multiple-time academic All-American. Multiple-time all-conference and multiple-time all-tournament team winner. So, like, she showed up when it counts and she does really good academically. She got her bachelor's degree with majors in Spanish and drama.
Interesting.
So, Heather got drama, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because in the film, Heidi's into drama.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they mixed up which twin was in it.
It's entirely possible. She played on the U.S. national team in 1993 and then played internationally, like over in Europe. She played professional basketball all the way till 2001. She did play in the WNBA off the bench in 1999 for the Sacramento Monarchs. The WNBA only founded in 1997, so during what could have been their prime of their careers, both the sisters couldn't play because it didn't exist in the WNBA. She only played for 28 minutes across 13 games. So, didn't really do much of anything.
No.
She eventually received a master's in multilingual education, teaching Spanish at an intermediate school back in Palos Verdes.
Oh my gosh, that's where this takes place.
Yeah. So, she went back there. And
so that was real? Like, that was actually their high school in real life? That's fun.
It's all like based on, it's pretty realistic, except for the basketball playing in the movie is unrealistic because people don't behave like that.
And apparently their hobbies.
Yes. For Heidi, same success team-wise. Again, they were at the same time.
In college.
Yeah. Something that I found the Wikipedia mentioned was both of the players were reportedly annoyances to teammates for getting too many fouls, playing soft, and making too many mistakes.
Playing soft, but they get fouls?
They foul other people, but they're not good at like driving through other players' contact to get fouls.
I guess this movie was pretty accurate then, because they fight a lot. And they do like foul all the time.
Heidi was like definitely, again, Heather is near the top of all of University of Virginia's stats, or at least was. I didn't go and double check that. Mm-hmm. Heidi is more like in the top 10, but the lower part of the top 10 for all the stats. Both are great players to have as a team. So it's just Heather was a little better. Heidi was 3-time ACC academic honor roll.
That's fun.
She got her bachelor's degree in rhetoric/communication studies and also in Spanish.
I just loved Spanish.
Yep, which is weird because in this film they explicitly take Italian as a class.
In high school.
Yeah, but it's just weird to me. Whatever. She played internationally from 93 to 97, then in the WNBA with the LA Sparks in 97 after that started, and then the Washington Mystics in 98. After that, she retired because of injuries. She became a commentator for the WNBA. That's what she did after retirement. And now she's a physical trainer. She specializes in lower back injuries, which is the injury that made her retire. And she's a private basketball coach. Both twins, at the time this movie came out, had the Guinness World Record for tallest female twins. But in 2004, another pair of twins beat them. So they no longer have the record, but they had it. Ready for some fun facts?
Yeah.
Okay. They had a tagline for this movie, which I just found a little weird. They're different from everyone else, and they have the jump shots to prove it. They don't really take jump shots in the movie. They're much more drive into the paint, get a layup.
Do jump shots.
But it's like, that's not necessarily their thing. It's just a weird tagline to
They're different from everyone else because they're tall.
Yes. This is tall girls.
I wonder, I guess it is a thing that people like get bullied for being tall, which is unfortunate.
You would never understand.
I would never understand. I am short. That's unfortunate though, because it's like you can't help how tall or short you are. It's a dumb thing to get made fun of for.
Both of the main two actors wore padding in their shoes to appear taller.
That makes sense. Yeah. Are you actually going to find super tall teenagers or / young adults to act in a movie? Probably not. And plus, they want to exaggerate their heightness.
The volleyball coach in the movie is played by Tammy Reese, who was also a University of Virginia college teammate of the girls at the time.
It's fun.
So just like the real life twins were teammates with her, and then she got a beard in the movie and like a cameo role. And then finally, the twins never played against or with each other in the WNBA. Both of them expressed it as like one of their biggest regrets.
Like they wish they could have
like had a game against each other.
Yeah, were they just in like different?
They never played in the same year.
Oh, they always were kind of.
Heidi played 96 and 97. Heather played 98.
So, I mean, Heidi went out for injury, so I guess Heather's like, oh, I wish I would have started sooner. Probably. That's a bummer. Are we ready now for the Disney Plus subscription?
I think we are. Am I reading it?
I guess if you want to.
Inspired by their true story, WNBA players Heidi and Heather Burge are also known as the world's tallest twins. But in the mid-1980s, high school freshmen Heather and Heidi could not be more different from each other. When their father sees an opportunity for college scholarships in their future, sports-centered Heather and fashion-conscious Heidi are transferred to a posh LA high school known for its athletic programs. There, Heather and Heidi land on Palos Verdes High's basketball team. They have to contend with teammates who consider them outsiders and also with an intense, budding rivalry with each other if they expect to fulfill their dad's dreams, which have increasingly become their own. How do you feel about the description?
Yeah, pretty accurate. Like,
yeah, I have no complaints on this.
I don't really have any complaints. I guess I didn't really realize that this movie took place in the mid 80s, but that makes sense. Like it doesn't really matter.
On the IMDb page for this movie, they have like 10 goofs that say about how none of this stuff like would exist in the 80s.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking too, but also like it doesn't really matter.
That's why I didn't put it in. I'm like, I don't want to like make fun of the movie when it's not really trying to be a period piece.
No, it's not. It's way more about the characters and less about what kind of gadgets they have because of the time, you know? Whatever. Okay, you ready to jump into the movie?
I'm ready to double team the movie.
Nice.
We're going to guard it twice. You know, I can only think of a couple times in this movie that they actually get double teamed.
They say it one time. Yeah. Like they say the phrase double teamed once, and I have it written down.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. All right. So we open on the movie looking out of a window, and it's like panning backwards into the bedroom.
It's like a very slow pan showing the whole bedroom.
And it says based on a true story. Oh my god. So now we're like in one of the girls' bedrooms. I learned later that this was Heather. I couldn't tell at first because it had been like multiple years since we watched this movie, I think. So this is Heather. She's doing sit-ups and jumping rope, and it's like before school, so it's presumably
we are jumping into this movie.
Yeah, it's presumably very early in the morning. But she just gotta get your workout in, you know. The Heidi is still in her bed. And we see a bunch of volleyball trophies, so you can tell these two girls are very athletic and good at volleyball. And Heather's like running in place upstairs in her bedroom, and she runs so hard that the trophy falls off the shelf. And the dad catches it and is like, haha.
Right on time.
Right on time. Okay, I think he said it was actually like early, like record time. Which, okay, if this happens every morning, get better shelves or protection. Like, you're gonna rely on yourself to catch it every day? What the heck? Okay. Then the girls head downstairs and they're wearing the same outfit and they're like mad about it and they fight about it. And okay, so what they have on is like kind of a leotard thing, and it's for their like volleyball practice. Is this some kind of uniform?
It's probably a volleyball uniform.
Okay, I hope so, because they're mad.
It's weird fashion.
They're just mad that they're wearing the same hoodie on top of it.
It's like a nice little solid purple hoodie.
Yeah. And like, okay. Then like Heidi eventually changes because the mom's like, draw straws for it. I'm tired of you guys arguing about it.
Because they all just say the same thing because they're twins.
Yeah. Okay. If it's not a volleyball thing, they need to stop buying the same clothes, because that means they have like the same workout leotard thing and the same hoodie. And the mom was like, who changed last time? Like, this happens all the time. Stop buying the same clothes.
Everything's better if you get it in bulk.
Yeah. They go to Costco all the time and the mom's like, I got 2 of them. Cool. So then at volleyball practice, you can tell Heather's like way more into it than Heidi is. And she's also better, I guess. It's kind of a theme of the movie that Heather's like, I'm better at sports than you, Heidi. And Heidi's like, I literally don't care about sports.
Heidi's like, yeah, volleyball's kind of fun, but like not my big deal. Whereas Heather's very much, it's what the description said. Yeah. Heather loves sports and everything about sports. Heidi's like, I like other things.
Yeah, I like other things. So then their dad and some other random guy are talking about like college recruiting and how there's like already scouts looking around. And we learn that the girls don't really have a volleyball team at their school because it's like a small private school. And so the guy's like, well, maybe you should have them switch schools with a better athletic program.
We learned very shortly that they kind of have money problems in part, and that's like why they're going to try and go for college scholarships. Why are they in a private school?
I don't know. You think it costs money?
Yeah, most private schools do.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, well, the recruits would come out here, right? And the guy's like, no. Like, they probably won't. This is a small school, so, and they don't even have a volleyball team. So what do you think? They just like play in the summer?
Something like that. They have a beach.
Well, that's not beach volleyball. They're playing gym volleyball. Okay, cut to the girls riding on a tandem bicycle.
I don't know why they're riding on a tandem bicycle.
The scene's so random. It's just kind of establishing like their relationship and dynamic, I guess. Heidi's complaining about not liking volleyball as much as their dad wants her to, but Heather's like, well, I like volleyball.
Heather's just very clearly the dad's favorite.
Yeah, and Heather's like, it must be hard always being second best to me. And they're just riding a tandem bicycle. And then they get home and the dad's barbecuing, and he and the mom are talking about moving houses like right now. Like, I'm going to uproot our lives right now so that the girls can go to a better high school for better volleyball. Like, he's like, I called them. They're giving us a couple weeks to find a new house over in the district, which I guess open enrollment isn't a thing for this high school. Like, you got to live there.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Or maybe their open enrollment slots are already filled.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, my elementary school, it was all in the same district. Like, my district had 3 elementary schools. the boundaries changed for my house of like which one I would go to. But my mom worked at the one that was actually closest to my house. So I don't know why my boundary was like not that one. My mom worked there. So I would just went open enrollment to the one that she worked at. Because obviously that's easiest to like I'd want to be at the school my mom's at, right? But then she switched to a different elementary school in the district. So I also had to switch because they're like, no, your kid can't come here anymore. The boundaries aren't like that. For my last year of elementary school is annoying. But yeah. So I'm like, I know what open enrollment is.
Yeah. So yeah, the dad's talking all about trying to make them go to a different school so they can get a volleyball scholarship.
Yeah, so they can get recruitments.
From my knowledge of college sports, which yeah, I guess this is the 80s, everything's a little different, but regardless, this is definitely a good idea, especially if they're worried about being able to pay the way for the kids into college.
Wasn't college more affordable in the 80s?
I mean, yeah, probably.
But still.
So, like, regardless, I'm just saying going to college and getting a scholarship is super helpful.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely an ability these girls have. They have shown that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's understandable that the kids will be upset about this, but this is like in the long run probably a good thing for them.
Well, it depends on what they want. Like,
I know, it's just this is like the dad does a lot of things that I disagree with and also that I agree with, and this is one that I lean more agree.
I think this is good for Heather and not good for Heidi. But he just ropes them both into it, you know?
Well, it also does they can't like not both go. You know?
They could theoretically, but I mean not
they don't have the money for multiple places.
Not because the answer is no, because they are strict about them needing to move. If they weren't strict about it, or if they could find somewhere in between that like worked for two different schools, like it doesn't have to be this specific school, you know. They could have found something if they had like planned better ahead of time instead of like the school year is literally about to start. And he's like, we're going to move right now. We have 2 weeks to move. You have 2 weeks to find a new house? That is not enough time, right? I guess they move into an apartment. That's probably enough time. But like, Jesus Christ, dude. You have to sell your house too. Presumably. Okay, so this is when the dad's like, hey, now, wife, I gave up job at big law firm so that I'd be home more. And because of that, we're poor. He's like, I'm not working at a big law firm so that I could stay home and micromanage our daughters. And because of that, we don't have money, so we need a scholarship for college. The girls show up and are like, whoa, what's going on? And the dad decides to tell them about how they're going to move. He says, you girls are different. You're tall and athletic. It's a special gift. So let's take full advantage of this gift, and you're going to a new high school. Woo! No,
everyone is very excited about this.
Heidi is like, what the fuck? I do not want to move just for a stupid sport. And she's very upset about it. She says, Heather can do what she wants, but I'm not going and you can't make me. And honestly, Heather's like also crying about this.
Yeah, it's something where moving is one of the most stressful things you can have as a kid.
Yeah, and it's just spring it on them like this. Like Heather likes sports, but I wouldn't want to move either. It's like their whole lives are here. Their friends are here. The house they grew up in, presumably. So yeah, Heather cries, also leaves. And the mom's like, what the fuck? You suck, husband. And you don't, she's like, you don't even know them. You just think they're tall and athletic. You don't even know their personalities.
But they are tall and athletic.
Yeah. So cut to a new morning. It's like, I guess the first day of school, or at least their first day at this school. They're like getting ready to leave. And Heidi says goodbye to her friend and complains about like leaving and stuff. And she goes, but we'll still be friends, right? And the friend's like, yeah, sure. And then they wave goodbye and they leave. And
we never see this friend.
We literally never see this.
And it's like a long dramatic like cut
so
of the
long
friend.
Of them driving away in their sad piano. It's way longer than it should be.
This movie's delightfully awkward in ways like this, where it's just it doesn't know when the scene should end.
Heidi's so sad, like, we'll still be friends, right? Totally forgets about this friend. And I feel like she doesn't even care later. Because she adjusts once she gets to her new school.
She's perfect.
She adjusts.
She prefers it to her old school.
Yeah. All right, so now they're at the new high school, the Palos Verdes high school. I'm definitely saying that. So the girls are like signing up for a foreign language, and this is when they decide to take Italian because they like pizza. And Heidi's
What a
like,
way to decide a language, by the
I
way.
know. Heidi and Heather are like walking around, and Heidi's like, oh my gosh, public school's so fun. And Heather's annoyed that like everyone's staring at them because they're tall and they're new.
Tall Girl on Netflix. Also, Tall Girl 2,
tall
also
girl,
on Netflix.
tall girl, double trouble.
Tall Girl Double Team.
And Heidi's like, whatever, they'll get over it. I just like that there's so many clubs here. And since volleyball is in the spring, Heidi is like, well, I can join like any team or any club I want in the fall because we don't have to play volleyball until the spring. Cool. So then Heidi helps a girl who's trying to hang up a big banner, and Heidi doesn't even need a ladder. She's so tall, right? And the girl's like, well, I would ask you to join drama club, but I'm sure prom committee already asked you since they always need help hanging up decorations.
It's really
That was
this
so rude.
Zoe. Who's this girl? It's
Yeah,
like
she's actually kind of weird, but she's in drama club, so.
she's just made. Yeah, she brings the drama.
Mhm.
She just does microaggressions on Heidi the entire time for being
For
tall.
being tall. Just like, oh, I would ask you, but I'm sure other people want you because you're tall. Like, I wouldn't want to be your friend, but Heidi's like, yeah, I actually would like to join drama club. And they're like, cool. All right. So cut to the gym. Heather's like checking out. She's looking for a place to work out. She finds like a whole cart of volleyballs
I
just
don't know
sitting
why
there.
it's out here.
I mean, if it was there for like gym class, although
Sure.
I don't think this is
Everyone
gym
was playing
class.
basketball though.
Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. I think it's like maybe after school or like a free period or something where people can just come to the gym and exercise. Like, I don't really know. Um, the gym's like really crowded, and so she brings the cart of volleyballs to a different gym. Like, right, the school probably has multiple gyms, especially a school that's really into athletics. So then we cut to basketball. It's like the women's basketball team. They're doing their like practice slash tryouts because they don't have an official team yet. They do, I guess, like a bunch of practices for tryouts, and then they have like an official game against themselves to see like who's going to make the final cut for the
Yeah.
basketball team. It's very serious. Which I would assume like maybe the tryouts is like a week long and then they do their final.
There's a lot
that's
of ways that can happen, but you got to remember this is specifically a school that is a sports school. This is like an
yeah.
IMG academy, probably less so than that in our real life. But what it is it is more of a program to try and get kids into college via sports than it is a program to get kids into school via other means.
Yeah.
Like
But I
you come
mean,
here to play sports.
even my school would have their teams have tryouts like all week or something, or even like
Yeah.
the soccer team, the tryouts would be like the summer right before school starts,
Mhm.
you know? Kind of wild. Okay. Coach, oh, sorry. So the girls are playing basketball, and we see Nicky for the first time. She gets 2 points off of a girl, and she's like, guess you too slow or something. Like she's snarky, right?
Nicky is a queen and she is a top 10 DCOM character, perhaps. I love
For
her.
you.
Every line she says is just in this like slight Valley Girl accent
They
of
are in California.
just being absolutely roasting everyone. And she's unbearably mean, and I love it.
Yeah, you do love Nicky. Okay, so apparently their team sucks though. Coach says, huddle up. Hey guys, stop standing around like statues. Someone please put pressure on Nicky when she has the ball. And then he looks up to God and he says, please, God, send in reinforcements. Cue Heather stumbling in, dropping like all of the volleyballs. I don't know what she tripped
Haha,
over.
clumsy.
Clumsy. And the coach is like, oh my God, like, you heard me. And he goes, how tall are you? And she's like, Oh, I don't know, around like 6 feet or something. Um, she's like, "Oh yeah, me and my sister are both tall," and he goes, "There's 2 of you? Thank you, God."
I love the coach as well. He is very unapologetic, just being like, I want to win.
I
And
want
I'm
these
mad that other
girls.
people are just getting in the way of that.
Yeah. And Heather says, "Sorry, like I'm a volleyball player. I don't play basketball. I probably wouldn't be very good." And the coach is like, "Why are you so cruel, God?" Like he's still talking to God. um, and he's like, "Maybe you could play basketball since volleyball's an off season right now. Like you play basketball in the fall, and then you play volleyball in the spring." And Heather's like, "I'm probably not very good." And the coach says, "Well, then you'll fit right in."
This team is not supposed to be bad. Like, I think
I
he's
have
just
a hard
insulting them.
I have a hard time believing that this team is bad. They really are acting like
They
this
have
team is
Nicky
bad.
on their team,
I
which
know.
we're going to get to
This
this
is a
later.
sports school, and you're telling me your team is bad and that you need these 2 very tall girls to like carry your team?
Nicky is like
She's good.
very good. She doesn't miss.
She never
She
misses.
does not miss a shot.
Yeah.
She is insane. And
I guess
she
one
can,
person can't carry your team.
I mean, it's basketball, the sport where the team sport where one person can carry your team.
Well, they have to take breaks. Yeah.
Not really.
um, okay, so coach is like, "We could really use you," and Heather's like, "Okay, I'll ask my dad." And it's like, "Okay, cool, cool." And Nikki is not impressed. She is she's not like her already. All right, cool. Cut to that night at home. Heidi's laughing on the phone. And the dad's like, "Man, get off the phone. It's time for dinner." And Heidi goes, "My dad is having a duck."
She also said, "My don't have a cow" to Heather earlier. I don't know what's with her and having barnyard animals.
Classic 80s, am I right? Heidi then is invited to a party Friday night, which
Wow.
this is an invite from Zoe. So she's already on the phone with Zoe. Fuck your old friends, right?
Yeah, again, the old friends who doesn't care about him anymore.
Yeah. And they mentioned, so now they're like at dinner and they still need to find a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad is kind of like, "Man, they probably won't check in on that. Like, we have longer than 2 weeks, I say, because, like, what are they going to check on where we live?" Uh-oh.
Just setting up for possible disaster, but it's fine. It's not like they're going to be disqualified from participating in the big tournament or anything. They're not.
No. Um, Heather tells them about meeting the basketball coach and asked her dad if she can join. And he's like, "Yeah, actually, I like that idea. It keeps you in shape and it helps you work on your jumping."
Still fully committed to being a volleyball person.
Yeah, but like, why not join a
Yeah.
different sport and keep you active? Like, it's not a bad idea. And he goes, "Heidi, you should do it too." And Heidi says, "No, thanks. I'm going to try out for the musical. It's Wizard of Oz."
I'm gonna be the Tin Man because I'm the only. Zoe said I'm the only one that can fit in the costume because I'm so
Because I'm
tall.
tall, and apparently they made the costume really tall.
Why?
I don't know. And dad is like, "Well, Heather's going to be famous and you won't for being an athlete." Bleh. And Heidi's like, "Well, I'm going to win an Oscar and not thank you."
I think the dad got the final laugh at this though, considering this is a movie about WNBA players.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Cut to another basketball tryout practice, whatever. Heather is there and she's making some shots, and Nikki is like, not about it. She's straight up like, they're just literally taking shots at the net. Like, they're not doing one on ones or anything. They're just kind of practicing shooting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki just straight up like takes the ball from Heather. And she says, "This is my team." Um, cool. Meanwhile, Heidi's trying out for the musical as the Tin Man, and Marvin is standing in for Dorothy at the audition, and he's like wearing the heels, and they're like, "Yeah, that's weird. Marvin's weird." Back to basketball. Coach gives them a scenario. He's like, "Okay, if this
Do
is
a
the
basketball
score,
play.
if this is the score, whatever, what do we do on defense?" And they say man to man coverage. He's like, "Yeah, cool." Heather and Nikki you guys are gonna be man-to-man coverage right now. So they're like against each other, right? Nicky gets by Heather.
Nicky can just easily dribble around.
Yeah, and like Heather's never really played basketball before, so it makes sense that she's like still kind of figuring
Nicky's
out.
just absolutely using technique over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coach was like, okay, let's try again. And then we cut, I guess, a little bit later. Now it's like 1-on-1 specifically. And it's Heather versus Nicky. And Nicky wins like easy again. Like she's just schooling Heather.
Yeah. This whole time, Nicky's doing nothing but embarrassing and intentionally embarrassing.
Yeah, because she just already decided she hates Heather.
Yeah, because she's great.
Yeah, Nicky wants to be the best on the team. And while she's best on the team, she wants to kick all of her teammates down. So she's a great person. So, like, Nicky's schooling her. Cool. We go back to Heidi doing the musical stuff, and she's doing great. And Zoe's like, cool, see you at the party. Cool. Back at basketball, Heather is like struggling more and getting frustrated. And then she runs up and fully blocks Nicky's shot.
This is, spoiler alert for the stats, literally the only time Nicky misses a shot in the entire movie.
Because it was blocked.
And it is because she was showing off. She could have easily just stopped and made this shot for a free layup to go in. But she turned and looked at Heather and like smiled and giggled.
Yeah,
just to like rub it in.
Yeah.
And Heather got up and blocked it. Was she good enough on Heather? But just pointing that out.
Everybody's like, whoa. Heather's so good. Because she like ran up when Nicky wasn't expecting it and used her height advantage.
Yeah. Like in a game situation, that would never happen.
Yeah. Cut to the party. Heidi gets dropped off by her dad, and she hasn't like drop her off like down the road. Is it because they're embarrassed
by that her dad's driving her to the party?
Is it because like their car is like
Maybe.
They're poor? Because it's like kind of the theme of this scene is like Heidi's poor.
Everyone at this school is rich, despite the fact that it's like it seems like a public high school.
Yeah.
It might be a private high school.
It is like
it might be private.
It is like in LA though. I thought it was public school.
I guess it's a real school. I can check.
Yeah, you should check.
It's a public high school, Palos Verdes High School.
Okay, is it like in a rich neighborhood? Because like your high school was a public school, but in like a rich town, you know?
Yeah. I would like to point out on the Wikipedia page for notable alumni. Oh no, they do have both Heidi and Heather Burge. No, I thought it only had Heidi for a second, and I thought that would have been very funny.
That would have been funny. All right, so Heidi gets dropped off at the party, and I said the party's pretty sick, not gonna lie. We learned that it's Nicky's house. Oh my gosh, the drama. Nicky shows up to like Heidi and Zoe talking, and she thinks that Heidi is Heather at first. But Heidi's like, oh no, you're actually thinking of my sister. We're twins. And Heidi's like, yeah, basketball isn't really my thing. And Nicky says, it's not really Heather's thing either. She just doesn't know it yet.
Ooh. Burn.
And Heidi's like, yeah, we just moved and we have a boathouse and we're totally rich.
To lie about this. This is such a minor
so
thing.
Stupid.
Just say that you're like, yeah, we're still moving.
Yeah, we're like in the process of moving.
Well, I guess the dad explicitly told them to lay low about the address.
Yeah, because they're like breaking the rules right now. And she gives a totally fake address, which is just even worse.
Yeah, she doesn't just say, like, I don't remember where it is right now.
Yeah, and
she makes up a number.
Yeah, and then we, like, cut to her and Heather talking back at home, and Heather's like, why did you tell them lies about us being rich? Like, that's not gonna help at all. And Heidi's like, I don't know. Cut to the press. It's probably some newspaper. They're talking to a guy jock, during like basketball practice, and Heather's watching, and we learn that that's Galen.
Ooh, Galen. He's hot.
Every college wants him, but not as bad as every senior girl. And then Nicky comes over and she's like, hey, so you have a fake address, huh? Like, I looked it up. It's a donut shop. Loser.
Well, they could be living in a donut shop. What do they know?
Yeah.
But again, shout out Nicky. She doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah. Cut to Heidi making new friends and like hanging out by their convertible car. And Heather calls her over. And Heidi's like, I got invited to go on a boat. You should come with. And Heather's like, no, thanks. I'm going to go practice in the gym more because I like sports.
We like basketball.
Yeah. And Heidi's like, I'm glad we're here. And like, I like it here now. And Heather's like, yeah, it's cool. But like, I miss my old friend. And I kind of miss like that we're not hanging out as much anymore. And Heidi's like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm honestly happy that I'm not being compared to you as much. Like, I think this is going to work out. And Heather's like,
They're
yeah.
happy to have separate lives. In real life, on their Wikipedia pages, it said in college, they had essentially completely separate friend groups.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they would like a little separation. Like, and Heather isn't saying like, I want to be with you all the time. She was saying like, it's just kind of weird that like we spent all this time together and now we're not. But overall, like, it's a good thing. You know, they're finding their own interests.
They're both very happy at this new school. Again, like, I get you're allowed to be upset, especially in the moment about the move, but it's turned out very well for them.
It turned out fine. All right. At home, Dad puts up a basketball hoop like above the garage for the driveway. And Heidi comes home and starts like playing with him, right? They're like
they start playing some basketball.
Yeah, and they're like goofing off while like they're actually having
They're doing
fun.
behind the back shots and facing backwards. It's great.
Yeah. And Dad's like, all right, time out. How was your boat ride? And she's like, yeah, it was cool. And he goes, all right, so change of plans. I told Coach that you would join basketball. And she said, you did without asking me? And he's like, yeah.
This is bad.
Oh, this is such a tick.
Especially because to this point, there's no reason for the dad to assume she's going to go pro in anything but like volleyball.
Yeah, well, he says like you need to get noticed by his school, which I don't understand.
This isn't volleyball season.
Yeah, their focus was originally volleyball, and now he's like fully switching to basketball already, knowing that Heidi wasn't interested in it, you know? And this really comes out of nowhere in the movie because we never have a scene of the dad going, oh, maybe I should put Heidi in basketball too. Also, how is this his decision at all? It's such a dick.
Also, I know she acts like, oh, I can't quit. Like, I have to quit drama. I can't.
Yeah, she says, what about drama?
What happens if she just doesn't do the basketball team? Is the dad going to be like, you're grounded? Like,
yeah, maybe.
That feels wrong.
Like, I don't know. As a teenager, especially with a controlling dad like this, I feel like it's hard to say no, you know, when your dad's like, you're doing this. Yeah, she says, what about the play? And he says, it's too bad. Your future is in sports. And Heidi storms into her room and she accuses Heather of putting him up to it. She's like, guess we're going to be together all the time now, back in your shadow, just like you like it, huh? Hope you're happy. But Heather's like, I didn't know. Like, what? So it's very dramatic. And then we get like a 2-second scene of Heidi having to quit the drama club. And Zoe's like, no, you can't. You're so good. And Heidi's
You're so tall.
And Heidi goes, don't have a choice. And like,
let me just say, very dramatic. She learned a lot in short time.
She did. All right, cut to more basketball practice for the tryouts. I don't know. Heather tries to tell Heidi again, like, I had nothing to do with you having to do basketball. But Heidi doesn't believe it, and she starts like beating up on Heather a little bit. Like they're just fouling each other.
They are aggressive on each other. For the stat keeping, I only counted fouls that were like officially assigned
in a game.
Well, like also if it was like in practice, but they said explicitly that's a foul, but they never do, so no one has a foul.
Yeah, the coach is just kind of like,
there definitely are multiple fouls, especially in this situation. They just like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna call. I don't want to be a judgment call.
Yeah, the coach is like, guys, stop. What? Stop being nice to each other. And then they start really fighting harder, and like to a point where the coach has to break them up. And Nicky says, you know, in the rules it says they should be suspended for fighting, but I guess not for them, huh? Like special treatment.
Oh my god, it's because they're tall.
It's because they're tall. Good for you, Nicky. Stand up for yourself. Whatever. They start playing basketball again, and this is when Heidi does her little foot shuffle thing.
We need to describe this to the audience because this happens multiple times and it makes sense 0 times. It's basketball. This is a sport where it makes no sense.
All right. So imagine you're holding the basketball and you go on like the balls of your feet, kind of on your toes, and you're alternating, like lifting your heels up as you swing the ball side to side.
Well, it starts with keeping the ball in center in front of your chest.
And you start doing the little foot
right heel up, down, left heel up, down.
You're putting your heels up and you're doing like aerobics.
And then after like 5 seconds of holding it like this, you start doing, aerobics where you put the ball to the right, to the left, to the right. This is the dumbest move in basketball.
So stupid.
It has no practical benefit.
And she makes a real stupid pass to nobody. Like she throws it and nobody's there. Heather was supposed to be there, I guess. And Heather's like, guess I can't reach your mind all the time. And that was like the end of the scene. So this dumb. Comes back.
Yes.
It's so stupid. All right. Cut to Nicky at her house. Her dad is leaving and like for business, right? He's a business guy. And she's like, hey, just so you know, I have a game, like try to make it. And he's like, yeah, okay. He's an absent father.
What?
Wonder what happened to her mom. She probably died, right?
The mom's even more absent. The dad got custody full.
The mom's just like on an island retreat somewhere. Anyway.
Her real dad is the limo driver.
Yeah. Okay. Cut to the basketball game. Nicky's dad didn't show up. Of course. So this is the game that's like the end of tryouts. It's a scrimmage against themselves. It's like a big deal for the school. They have a whole crowd. The whole marching band is there. It's a big deal. And it's like tradition. Also, their team name is the Sea Kings. Kind of weird.
It's real.
Name. I believe it's real. It's a real high school, but it's just kind of a weird name.
I have not heard of Sea Kings outside of this movie.
Sea Kings. What's their mascot? Can you look that up?
I think it's like named after Poseidon.
Oh, so it's probably just like a merman with a trident.
Yeah, their mascot is Poseidon.
I wish they had a different name. But... Okay. So coach is like, all right, guys, gather around. Everybody's going to get the same amount of minutes. And, you know, you can still make the final cut of the team. Like, I haven't made any decisions yet. Which obviously he has, whatever. He's like, everyone's going to play the same amount. Just do your best. There's even, like, an announcer for this. I feel like DCOMs always have an announcer.
No announcers actually like giving live commentary
for high school games.
But this is because if you're gonna watch gameplay footage, and these are people who don't necessarily like know the rules or anything, they want it to be like their TV broadcast. Especially because like Disney owns ESPN, which is all just showing game footage, with commentary. They want people to interact with sports like this.
Yeah.
So I get it. It is something that you just kind of have to accept, even though, again, basically none of these movies that make sense.
Yeah. All right. So the sisters are on opposite teams and they start playing and they're like taunting each other. And as the game goes, like it's really just the twins scoring at first. It's like Heather scores and then Heidi scores and then Heather scores.
It's really just the two of them that are doing it. Everyone else is not allowed to play.
Yeah,
even though the coach said everyone gets equal minutes.
Yeah. And the announcer is like, Birch sisters, blah. And then Nicky gets fed up. She's like, she's not doing it alone.
Yeah, Nicky has literally... So, Nicky and Heather are on the same team here.
Yeah.
Nicky has assisted in every single one of these so far.
So the announcer is finally like, Nicky got the assist. Like, yeah, okay, thank you for giving me credit finally. Also, Galen, the cute boy, is watching.
He is not a character in this movie.
No, he barely is. But you gotta have a hot guy in your DCOM. All right. The announcer's like, the Birch sisters are on fire. And the crowd is like picking sides, which, I mean, yeah. So the crowd is like, this side's cheering for the red team and this side's cheering for the black team. And they're going, Heather, Heather, Heidi, Heidi. And Nicky's like fed up about it. And so they're playing. And the coach is like, pass to Heather, pass to Heather. But Nicky instead takes the ball herself, makes a shot, fully makes the shot.
It goes in.
It goes in. And coach
The
calls
coach
a
is
timeout.
so mad.
Yeah, he calls a timeout and he says, Nicky, hit the open player. And Nicky's like, I had the shot. Like, I'm a shooter, not a passer. And coach says, actually, you're a ball hog with a sorry attitude.
She got the shot in.
She got the shot in. He's like, go sit on the bench.
She's just Kobe Bryant, who takes all the shots because she knows she's better than anyone else taking the shot.
He literally said, you're a ball hog. She has been passing the whole game. This is the first shot she's had.
On screen, at least, yeah.
For the game, presumably. Yeah. Like, what do you mean ball hog? She's given Heather the ball, like, every play.
But the coach is just very much drinking the Burge Kool-Aid.
I cannot imagine being mad at a player for scoring points.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me?
It's really funny to me. Because, again, this movie, what I remembered the most about it years after watching it was that the coach kept getting so mad that Nicky would make shots.
And she sinks them every time.
Yep, she doesn't miss.
She doesn't miss. If she was missing all the time, maybe, but she never misses.
They could easily have just made her miss, and then the point would make more sense.
Yeah.
But they don't, and I love that they don't. It makes this movie way more
Nicky, how dare you score points for your team? Don't you know you have to give it to the tall girl? What the heck? Okay, so for the rest of the game, Nicky is on the bench, and that's for a full quarter, because she starts on the bench, like, towards the end of the third quarter, and then it's the fourth quarter, and she sits on the bench the whole time. What happened to everyone playing the same amount of minutes, coach? It's because he benched her for shooting the ball. If I were her parent, I'd be so mad, but her father's absent, so no one's there to advocate for her. And
she's
I'm really
all alone
mad
in
about
this
it.
world.
Yeah, I'm so pissed about it. Okay, Heather blocks Heidi's last shot, like the buzzer beater.
Yeah.
And Heather wins the game.
Heidi was ahead by, like, Heidi's team was ahead by, like, 10 points. And that just made Heather, like, real turn it on.
Yeah, Heather came back and won.
Sicko mode and take the lead. But then Heidi has a chance to win it with a shot. But Heidi does the little foot thing.
She does?
Yeah.
And then Heather nope.
blocks it.
Heather goes, nope.
So, foot thing 0 for 2 right now.
Yeah. And so Heather wins, her team won, and Dad is like, that's my girl. And Mom says, so is the other one.
Again, the dad only likes Heather.
Nicky is pissed off, which I would be too, poor Nicky. Heidi is sad, and the dad goes over and, like, hugs Heather, and then the mom is like, it's okay, Heidi. And the dad never hugs Heidi. He just goes, all right, girls, let's go. Like, he never gave Heidi a hug. What the fuck? Oh, I wonder whose favorite is. All right. Cut to Nicky in the school hallway alone. She puts an envelope that says confidential on the principal's desk.
It's just like a normal envelope that says confidential. Like handwritten in Sharpie. Do you think,
like, if you saw an envelope on your desk that said confidential, would you open it?
Yes. Yes, if it's on my desk, it's for me.
I feel like I'd be like, this isn't for me.
That's the difference between you and I.
Yeah. Okay. Cut to the coach on stage in the auditorium. Like, it's a full auditorium, and they're announcing players on the team.
Everyone is here.
I wonder if this is them making the announcements or if they know already that they're
I think it's like a pep rally.
I hope that they already announced who's on the team, because imagine going to this and then you don't make the team.
Find out you got cut.
Yeah.
It'd be brutal.
It'd be so
good, like,
brutal.
reality TV, maybe. Or Rama.
So he says, our starting point guard and last year's MVP, Nicky. And Nicky walks in.
Why didn't Heidi just do that on purpose? Get
to
cut
not make
from the team and then go do drama.
Because the dad would be pissed at her.
Yeah, but just be like, I'm bad at basketball.
Sorry.
Maybe it would be hard to really effectively act. But you know what would have gotten her lessons for that? The drama club. That's a whole separate movie that could have been. Trying to pretend to be bad at basketball enough while making it look legit, using the drama club so you can be a part of the drama club. I'm telling you, there's a movie in there.
Okay. At forward, we have Heidi. Yay!
Woo!
And at center, the best new player we've had in years, Heather. And the whole crowd goes, Heather, Heather, Heather. Heidi is not impressed, but Nicky, you think, would be angry, but she's smirking because she knows that she caused some trouble.
Nicky, when she got called out, just like barely made it in time from dropping it off at the principal's desk.
Yeah.
She like timed it perfectly.
She did. She's awesome. Okay. Cut to the principal chewing out the dad for not moving within the 2 weeks that they had. And he's like, sorry, the girls are expelled. That's too bad. And the dad's like, okay, hey, I know I blew it, but please don't penalize my girls for my mistake. And the principal is like, okay, find a place to live before Christmas or don't bother coming back after the break. And this time I'm going to be checking in myself that you've moved. So I'm serious this time. In. Well, they do move, so maybe he did. They just didn't bother showing it. All right, cut to them moving out of their house. So they're like packing up all their stuff. They get in their car.
All sentimental and sad.
Yeah, and the dad goes, well...
And that's drives away. That's the whole scene.
The girls are like crying because they're
like leaving. Softly, not like.
Yeah, but like it's sad, right? They're leaving their house, and the dad just goes, well.
And then drives off, never to go to their childhood home again.
Yeah. All right. Cut to them pulling up to the new apartment. It's near the bowling alley. And the mom and dad are unpacking, and the dad's like, the girls are mad at me. And the mom's like, you think? And he's like, we had to move. And the mom's like, it's not the house that they're upset about. Like, they're just unhappy with this. And she's like mad about it. And the mom says, you're always there as a coach and a cheerleader. They could use a little more father.
This is a classic, like, moment in everything, but usually it's the actual kid.
He goes, what am I supposed to do, Mary? Apologize for giving them opportunities? And she goes, maybe it's not their dream. Maybe it's only yours.
Incredible. It's just the mom, it's not my dream,
Dad. Yeah, Ice Princesses. You haven't even seen that movie.
Well, I know that's like we're colloquially calling it Ice Princess. Like the scene in every sports movie.
It's not my dream. It's yours.
Where it's like your parents pushing you too hard.
Yeah. All right. So outside, Heather's sadly swinging on a swing. And Heidi's like, oh, well, there isn't enough room for both of our stuff, so I got rid of your bed. Haha. But Heather's still moms. And then Heidi apologizes for lying to Nicky about their house because then maybe they wouldn't have had to move. But Heather's like, school probably would have found out anyway, so it's okay. And Heidi also says, like, I know you didn't have anything to do with the basketball thing. Like, mom told me it was only dad's idea, so I'm sorry about that too. And Heather says, like, I never would have messed you up, like, being in that play. I know it was important to you. And Heidi's like, I know that now. And Heather's like, Heather's like, you should have known it then.
She should have.
Yeah. She was just really heated and upset. Heather goes, you're my sister and my best friend. Aww. Sisters by chance, friends by choice.
Friends by chance, sisters by choice.
Girls that are just friends. They're like, no, we're sisters.
But they were friends by happenstance.
Okay. Heather then is like, hey, since you said there's only one bed, guess I'll play basketball for it. There's like a little basketball court at their apartment complex.
Yeah, just like a pickup hoop.
Yeah. And then they play basketball. Heidi does the weird foot thing again. And Heather's like, what is that? And Heidi's like, it's my special move.
It's so dumb.
Give me the stick so I'll do my special move. Give me the basketball. It fades and you can tell that they've been playing basketball for a while. And then commercial break.
Yep, it's still a TV movie.
Cut to basketball practice. The twins are on good terms again. But the team is not on good terms with them. Nicky is still a bitch.
Nicky, no.
And the girls are like, we moved, okay, bitch? I know you try to fuck us up. And Nicky says, uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood. Zing. Heidi's like, hey, everyone, we're teammates. What if we're not rich? Like, you don't have to be mean to us. And Madison goes, it's not because you're not rich, it's because you lied to us. Teammates don't lie either. So now they're practicing, and coach is still mad at Nicky for scoring instead of letting the twins score every point on this team. And now he's mad at everyone for hogging the ball, even though they have not missed a single fucking shot.
It's so good.
Like, and everybody's hogging the ball? That means the points are evenly distributed. Like, I don't know what he's mad about. They never fucking miss. And he's like, pass the ball more.
Nicky just goes like, no, and just double guarded.
I don't think this movie shows them ever miss. Okay, maybe they miss one shot in like the whole movie.
I have the stats.
Other than being blocked, I can think of one time they shoot for the basket and it doesn't go in.
I will bring up the stats when we get to the end of the movie.
It just like makes it every time. All right, this is the part where Nicky is double guarded. So there's double
teamed.
Yeah.
There's Heather two people wide open under the basket for an easy 2 points. But Nicky just goes, I know there's 2 people in my face, but what if I shoot up this 3 and drain it?
Literally shoots a 3-pointer. And the coach goes, Nicky! Why didn't you pass the ball?
And like, I get what the coach is saying, because generically he needs his team to do this. But it's so much more awkward to do it when the player is scoring and Nicky doesn't miss. She doesn't miss.
She made the basket with 2 guards on her for more points than what they would have got if she passed to Heather.
Her name is Nicky No Miss.
Like, generically, yeah, you don't want to try and shoot the ball when you have 2 people guarding you. But the fact that she never fucking misses. And so the coach gets so mad at her for scoring points.
3 points is worth more than 2, by the way. I know.
So the coach takes it to the blackboard and writes, team. Who can tell me the definition of this word? Madison, put your hand down.
Madison's just always there. I don't even know if we really mentioned Madison at all.
Madison's here for team morale, okay?
I took Madison's stats as well, and I'm just going to spoil those. Madison's combined stats in this entire movie has 0 shots.
She's here for the morale, the assist, for the defense.
She has 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 rebound. And that's it in all games and practices.
Madison really...
And she is one of only 4 characters on this team.
Madison really said, who we gonna be TEAM team, okay? And coach says, y'all are playing a stupid game of keep away from the twins. So, of course, they're ignoring you. And Nicky keeps finding these wild shots.
And making them.
He goes, I have half a mind to tear up this invitation for this really cool tournament. And they all go, what? What tournament? And he goes, you would have had to spend Christmas in New York. And they're all like,
Home Alone 2?
Oh my God, we want to go. We want to go to the tournament in New York.
I guess Home Alone 2 didn't exist at that point, did it?
No. And coach goes, are you going to be better and play together? And they're like, yeah, we'll be teammates and play together. Okay. And he goes, you guys are going to have to pay some of your way, though. So their school isn't rich enough to fund you guys a trip to New York, I guess. And Nicky goes, that's not a problem for us. But you twins, you guys are poor.
You got them.
And the twins are like, we have a plan. This part's so pointless.
They needed filler time, apparently.
Yeah, so the girls are like cleaning boats for money, but
this is to show how much they care.
Yeah. So they like clean boats for money, but they still don't have enough. So then they go to this like festival thing.
It's just like a carnival.
Yeah, but not really. It's just kind of a street. Yeah, a street where there's street performers. And they just like dance.
They dance on some stairs and get rich.
They like tap dance and get some money. And it's silly. All right, guess it worked. They're off to New York. Nicky and Madison, they're all like getting their tickets. And Nicky and Madison are flying first class.
Up in the sky.
And Nicky says, enjoy your flight, twins. I'll wave to you from first class. And there's also a woman who's like coughing and sneezing or whatever. And the twins are like, oh, I guess you're gonna be like next to her because there's not many seats in first class and you're gonna get sick.
It's super contagious. She just said that.
But don't
She
worry.
did say it.
Don't worry, they have a shot for everything these days. And it's back in the 80s. Did they have a shot for everything in the 80s?
Probably.
I don't know.
Enough.
Madison goes, oh, I don't like shots. I'm going to trade my first class ticket for Coach.
That's where if I was like Heidi or Heather, I was just like, I'll
trade
it.
you. Madison. Like, they kind of got Madison back on their side, you know?
Mhm.
But, like, girl,
Sit
first class.
Take it.
I would do it. All right, cut to the basketball game at the tournament. So this is like the championship game of the tournament.
This whole tournament, they show 10 seconds of game footage.
Yeah.
And this is it.
So it's like the end of the game. Heather makes a shot. They took the lead by like a point.
Heather blocks an opposing team's shot. The other team's up by 2. Runs down the court all alone. Stops at the 3-point line, which is a decision in itself. I feel like you just take the 2 points and go for overtime. Rains the 3
to take the lead.
Everyone starts celebrating.
And they start celebrating.
But the other team's too smart.
The game isn't over. They still have a couple seconds. And the coach goes, no, the game's still going. But the girls are too busy celebrating. The other team takes the ball, scores 2 points, and wins the game.
Which honestly, shout out the other team. That's like on a YouTube compilation I'll watch where it's just like moments people celebrated too early.
Yeah, that is such a devastating way to lose a championship. It would be
awful. And that's a championship game. Dang.
Like, holy shit. So the coach is like, hey, we lost, but I'm still really proud of you guys. And then one of the like tournament dudes comes over and gives MVP to Heather. This is the first time ever that MVP isn't given to someone on the winning team. Like, it was given
so she just has been killing it through this tournament.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Too bad it doesn't count in her stats because I have to see it to believe it.
So we get like a scene where the girls are like hanging around New York and Heidi's like mesmerized. And they're like getting food, and Heidi runs into Zoe at like a theater. Remember the drama club girl Zoe?
It's easy to forget.
Yeah. And
she's the one who's mean to tall people.
Yeah, Zoe is there to see theater. And she's like, you totally see the show. And Heidi's like, oh, I would love to, but like we're about to go to the airport.
We're about to leave New York.
Yeah, and then Zoe's like, oh, well, our play, Wizard of Oz turned out okay.
I feel like Heidi should have been able to go to Wizard of Oz for one day.
She could have watched it, but yeah. Zoe's like, it turned out okay, other than the fact that the Tin Man costume swallowed Marvin.
Because he's too short compared to you.
You're tall. And Zoe's like, Heidi, you should totally do drama camp in the summer. Okay, cool, bye. Now they're at the airport. I guess they're back home now, and it's Christmas. And yeah, so the coach told them earlier they're gonna have to spend Christmas in New York. They spent Christmas on a plane, like all day, to get from New York to LA.
Yeah,
that's across the whole country.
You do get the time in your benefit, so
yeah. But it's like nighttime because they go home and it's like 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like late Christmas. Nikki's dad did not show up to pick her up. It was just her driver. So poor Nikki. Yeah, it's really sad. So Nikki's like sitting alone in the airport while her driver gets her bag. And Heather notices that Nikki's sad and alone and tells Heidi, like, come on, let's go over there. And Heidi's like, no, she turned us in. And she isn't our friend. But Heather's like, we should help anyway. And so they go over and Heather says, so what's the deal with your dad? And Nikki's like, leave me alone. So they start to leave, but then
Heather still says Merry Christmas.
Yeah. But then Nikki's like, he's in Chicago on business. Surprise, surprise. There goes another Christmas. Okay, so this is a really serious moment. The whole time Heather's been wearing this like foam headband of the Statue of Liberty. And so Nikki's like, there goes another Christmas. And Heather like takes off the
It's like, this is not the moment
for this. This is not appropriate for the serious moment.
It adds a nice little hearty chuckle to the scene. Otherwise, it does nothing for it.
Yeah, and they go, sorry. And Nikki's like, I should be the one saying sorry. I've been riding you really hard. I just like wanted to be the star on the team. I thought maybe my dad would like come to my game then.
Don't, you silly goose. Your dad doesn't care if you're good or not.
You goose. Your dad wouldn't come anyway. Heather's like, hey, you want to come with us for a late night Christmas dinner? It beats going home to an empty mansion. And Nikki's like, do you want to take my limo? So it's like, heck yeah, let's take the limo.
Woo! Apparently the parents just have to drive home separately.
Yeah, they're like, hey mom, dad, we're gonna take the limo.
Hopefully we don't beat you.
Yeah. So then at home, they're at the girl's apartment. The dad's making these like awful gooey
It's like beans and bacon
and cheese.
Yeah,
and it's not good.
It's a Christmas tradition, and everyone in the family hates it except the dad.
So the three girls go to play some hoops, even though it's 1 a.m. And they don't eat the food. So they're out playing basketball now, and Nicky is like, "You guys are lucky to live here because you have parents who care." And Nicky said that she thought, that's when she's like, I thought if I was the best on the team, maybe my dad would care, but he doesn't. And then, oh my gosh, guess who shows up? It's cute boy Galen.
What? Galen?
He lives here in this apartment building. Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Yeah, the girls are like, you live here? Merry Christmas to us. And turns out, okay, this was the thing they mentioned earlier. The sign for the apartment buildings was missing.
Shore.
Yeah, it was missing an H. It was Galen that stole the H, and then he like puts it on the basketball hoop
to like fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Galen starts giving them basketball advice, and they're like, he's cute.
Yeah, they each like mess up a little bit to try and touch. Yeah,
Heidi keeps going, you want me to stand here? And he's like, no, I want you to stand here, and like grabs her shoulders and moves her. Yeah. And he's like, Nicky, stop with the screwy shots. You need to pass more.
Come on, you two.
She makes every shot she shoots.
She's Nicky No Miss.
That's what you call her. And then he says, guys, the freaky twin thing is cool where you can like read each other's mind or something. I don't know. And then he's like, all right, you have to pass 3 times and then you can shoot. So then they start like practicing and they play with him and they pass more. Hooray. And they're becoming friends.
Yay.
Cut to a basketball game.
Yeah, it cuts like mid one of Heidi's shots.
As they're shooting outside at 1 a.m., they're shooting in the game now. Like, whoa, transition. The girls are working better as a team now, and it's almost the end of the game. Heather shoots and misses. This is another time they miss. Oh my gosh. That doesn't happen often. But Heidi rebounds.
She gets the offensive rebound and gets it in.
Yes. And there's 2 seconds left. The game is tied 48-48. The opposing team took a timeout. And the opposing coach is yelling at the ref, saying that there should have been a foul on Heidi's rebound. And you said it was because she reached over the player.
That's what the coach is saying. I'm not a basketball expert or anything, but there are a lot of times fouls on rebounds because you can't like reach over someone and like absolutely block them off.
Yeah. But like the girl's back was turned.
Yeah.
It was weird.
They're saying basically Heidi pushed her over in essence.
So the opposing coach was like, ref, you need to make that shot. If you don't have the balls to make that shot, you shouldn't beat her at all, is basically what she said. And then the ref gets pissed at her and calls a technical.
She does physically touch the ref, which is usually a big no-no.
Yeah, she's totally throwing the game.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
He gives a technical.
I would hate to be on her team because she threw the game for you.
Imagine the coach throwing your game because they are screaming at the ref. Like, if you're gonna coach kids, especially kids, like, you need to be more mature and like not ruin it. I have like some perspective. My dad coached my soccer team growing up, so looking at a lot of the stuff like the parent coach dynamics of this movie and the coach ref dynamics of this movie. I also coached a little bit once I stopped playing soccer. I'm like, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah. Also, as a side note, IMDb loved to mention that the ref in this movie does the signal for timeout rather than the signal for technical foul, which is what the coach got.
He does a T for technical foul.
So
they get 2 shots, and our coach is like, I can't believe she just did that. Like, I can't believe she's throwing the game.
What a gift.
And he goes to his girls. He's like, hey, they're trying their best to lose this game. So let's win it now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put our best player in for the free throws. And right now, that's Heidi. Heidi has hot hands. Like, she's been sinking them.
Mm-hmm.
So Heidi's going to take the free throws.
Do you believe in the hot hands theory? That's like a big debate in psychology. Does that mean like
you're like doing really good in the moment?
The hot hand theory, basically, basketball's where it is most well like documented. If you made a few shots in a row, you have a hot hand and are more likely to continue to make shots than your actual average.
I feel like that could be a thing. Like, you're just kind of you get momentum going. You're feeling better about yourself. If you're missing all the time, you're thinking, don't miss. And that's going to make you miss more,
It's a thing that as a psychology student, I remember seeing in my classes where it's like, there is legitimate debate between psychologists on if it exists or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the logic behind it existing, there is reasonable logic, but there's also like the evidence is mixed.
Yeah.
Like both there's stuff that appears to really show it and there's stuff that does not.
Sometimes you're on in a game and you're doing really good, and sometimes you're off. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I view it. Okay, so Heidi's gonna take both free throws. And then after the free throws, they get the ball again. So he's like, get the ball to Heidi, and you just have to hold it for 2 seconds. And you said the thought process here is that they might foul Heidi.
Yes. So the concept of a basketball game like this is, first off, with a technical foul, the good guys are going to get the chance to do 2 foul shots, and then they get the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
And with only 2 seconds remaining in the game, the only way the other team has a chance is
to foul, because then they get the ball after.
They get the ball after the foul shots end, and they can do like a full court shot. And if it goes in, that's 3 points, and that could win or tie the game.
Yeah, because like they're tied right now. So if Heidi makes both, they could get 3 points and win the game.
Yep.
If they miss their second free throws,
Yeah.
You're just hoping that like, okay, we're gonna foul, hope they miss, and then maybe
it's a common basketball strategy, and it's also why. A lot of the reason I don't like a lot of basketball where the end of the game usually takes years.
Because they just keep fouling them. And
because if you have a chance, you have to extend the game, and that extends the game.
Yeah, so he's like, get the ball to Heidi again so that if they foul, she's once again taking the free throws. Because we want her taking the free throws right now. Okay, so like they're getting ready. Heidi's going to do the free throws. And then their dad comes up to the coach and is like, what the heck? Heather's your best player. She should be the one taking the free throws. This part pisses me off so much.
They're like, both his daughters, and he's just.
I know. Even if it wasn't
like Heidi,
even if Heidi wasn't his daughter, like the fucking audacity of you to come up and say, "Put my kid in instead," like to try and tell the coach what to do. Like, you are not the coach. You are a parent. You're a supporter. And you're getting way too heated for this game. Like, you need to calm the fuck down. It's not that serious. Mm-hmm. Like, and this is where, like, my perspective of seeing more of the coach side growing up. Like, my dad was a coach. I was a coach. Like, calm the fuck down. This is not what's, like, the big best, like, the World Cup for basketball. What's that?
The NBA Finals.
This is not the NBA Finals. There's not like a big tournament name for it.
No.
Like, this is your teenage daughter. And also that's your other teenage daughter. Like, the fact that it's also his other daughter just is so much worse.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just double bad as a parent and as a person.
Yeah. He's like, Heather's your best player. And coach says, Heidi has hot hands right now and you have a hot head.
Boom.
Get fucked.
Fire.
Fuck the dad. So this is a big moment for Heidi. Everyone's chanting her name, and Heather notices that everyone's chanting her name and not her name anymore. And
she's like, what? They're mispronouncing it.
And Heidi misses her first shot. Uh-oh. I think she has another chance. So she shoots her second free throw, and she makes it this time.
Nice. I feel like 1 out of 2 is all you need in this situation.
Yeah.
But it's also like, ooh.
But now, like, if they do foul and then you miss.
The way this gym is set up, by the way, I'm still furious.
There's like a balcony over the hoop.
Someone could easily just reach down and touch the hoop because there's people
I think it
hanging.
was too far away for that.
They could like put a stick there.
Maybe.
Like
The fact that you're looking at the hoop and you fully see people like above it
if you tilt
is
your
so
head
distracting.
2 degrees higher, you're looking at someone's head.
What the heck?
That doesn't make it's dumb.
It's like a thing in baseball where behind the pitcher it's like just green,
Yeah,
right?
they have a batter's eye.
Why don't they do that for this basketball gym?
I don't know.
Anyway, so she makes her second shot, hooray. And the mom turns to the dad and says, I told you so. So, like, you gotta assume that the dad was like, she's gonna miss. And the mom says, no, she's not gonna miss. Told you so. Like, fuck this dad, dude. And then they get Heidi the ball and she holds it for 2 seconds. They don't even foul her.
Yeah, the other team's coach did a bad job.
Yeah.
Telling them all to foul.
Yeah, the other coach fucking sucks. So they deserve to lose, I guess. And yay, they won the game.
Woohoo.
I don't think this is any kind of championship. I think it's just a game.
It sounded like, from what the dad was saying in that rant, that it may have been like a necessary win to make the finals.
Or like a playoff game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something like that. Because the dad's like, those scouts are coming next week and they need to see my daughters, and if they don't win this, they won't.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck the dad. So this time Heidi gets the first hugs from the parents.
Because Heidi's the new favorite.
Yeah.
It's a what have you done for me now situation.
So like they won, but Heather is sad because she wasn't the star this time. Ooh. Which is a bummer that's how she feels, you know?
Heather's all cry, sad.
Yeah, so cut to Heather and Galen playing basketball.
They've apparently been going at this for hours.
For 2 hours, what he says. Galen says, enough, Heather. We've been playing for 2 hours.
I mean, just that late night basketball grind. You know Heather loves it.
And she's like, no, I'm not going to quit. Like, she has an attitude. You can tell she's very upset that she was not the star, even though they won the game. But Heidi was the star of that game. Heather can't handle it. So they play more, and Heather fucking breaks her ankle.
She breaks her ankle on a shot that, I just want to get it ahead of this. I am the least confident out of the ones that I put in my stats about this one. The shot looks like it's going to go in when she's shooting it, but the way the ball bounces after, I think it missed. So I said no good. Obviously, that's what matters over, Heather fucking breaking her ankle.
I guess she doesn't actually break her ankle, though, because she doesn't have a brace on.
No, it's just probably a sprain.
She does have crutches, but it's not, like, casted up or anything.
Well, right now, she's, like, lying on the ground crying.
Yeah, I'm talking about later. I'm like, because what actually happened to her ankle, it's just a little ouchy. Mom comes and gets her and helps her up. And the mom's like, or not mom, Heather's like, the scouts are coming to the game tomorrow. Dad is going to be so mad.
Which you would expect him to be, considering who this dad's been.
This is such a fucked up relationship. Because she is like crying in pain, and what she's concerned most about is that her dad's going to be disappointed in her because she got injured.
Yep.
So fucked up. And this part is just kind of weird. It's like taken out of context. Like they're kind of carrying her away, and the dad's there, and she's crying. She goes, "I'm sorry, Dad." And he goes, "No, brother, no." Like it's kind of weird. Cut to Heather on her bed, icing her ankle. The mom comes in and asks her how she's feeling, and she's like, "I feel stupid."
She says, I mean, it was kind of stupid to go play for 2 hours after your game.
Yeah, and you have like the championship game tomorrow. Which it's interesting that those games are back to back. Unless this was just a different day. Maybe there was a day in between.
Maybe there was a day in between. I think it was the same. I feel like a high school tournament could easily be in the same, except the only weird part about that is different gyms. You'd think it'd be in the same gym if it's the same day.
Interesting, yeah. Anyway, Heather says, I didn't play good enough. And the mom says, scoreboard says you won, unless you're keeping score a different way. And Heather says, basketball was supposed to be my thing, but Heidi's better than me. And mom says, there's always going to be someone better than you. It happened to me too in swimming. There was this girl who was my biggest rival, and in the championship,
They were both their like top in their conference.
Yeah, and it was finally going to see who's best, and she beat her by like 100 yards or whatever.
Smoked.
Yeah, absolutely smoked her. And she said, but that doesn't mean I wasn't good. And I loved swimming. Like, I loved the sport. And Heather, and she's like, you love basketball? And Heather says, yeah, I do. I really love basketball. And mom says, well, then play it for that then. Don't do it to beat your sister or to make your dad happy. Play it because you love it. Aw. And then Heather says, why'd you quit swimming if you loved it? And she says, because I love being a mom more.
Aww.
Heather
That's
needed
his
to hear
classic
this.
sports movie scene.
The girls have one good parent and one shitty parent. All right, cut to the championship basketball game. Oh my God, they're warming up, and Heather's out because of her injury. Heather tells Heidi, like, you got to carry the team this time. You can do it. And Nicky's dad still isn't there. And the game starts. You have anything to say about the game, or you want to save your stats?
I'm saving the stats for the end. I didn't like go game by game.
Yeah, that's
mainly
fine.
did a total.
Basketball happens. Heidi is getting double guarded, and this is when they say
she's being double teamed.
Oh my gosh, double team on Heidi. Things are like not going well anymore. They're kind of
I think at the first like 1 minute of the game, it's going well.
Yeah, and then
Heidi,
like,
and then they're like, okay, we can't actually defend her. Let's just double team her.
Yeah, so they start double teaming Heidi, and things are kind of turning in the wrong direction for the
and if only had someone who could shoot a basket despite being covered by everyone.
That's not how this team dynamic works. You gotta pass to the tall girl. So timeout. Heather's like, you guys need to do better. And Heidi's like, they're all over me. And coach says, you know, they're taking down Heidi. There's 2 people on Heidi. That means somebody has to be open. So step up, hit your open shots. This is totally against everything he said before.
The coach is finally realizing they have Steph Curry in the prime on their team.
And they're like, oh, look, dad's here. And of course he's with a scout. But oh my God, that's not a scout. It's Nicky's dad. Whoa! He showed up. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're back.
It's been long enough the movie that you forgot what he looks like.
Yeah. So Mickey. So they're back at the game, and Nicky makes a basket. Woo! And then she steals the ball. Woo! She's doing good now because her dad's here. And she's like, I gotta do good for my dad. He's finally showed up to a game. And the Sea Kings are coming back now. Nicky's on fire. I wrote, this is exactly what teamwork does. I'm assuming the coach said that. I don't know. Probably. Oh no, I think the announcer said it. I think the announcer was like, teamwork's cool.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And then we get like a scoring montage of, you know, the game, and the teams are pretty even. Like the score is pretty even.
Yeah. So we're gonna get towards what's like roughly the last couple plays of this game. The bad guys are winning.
But not by a lot.
But not by, it's I believe a 4-point game. Mm-hmm. With about 30 seconds to go, which is probably like an 80% win probability for the bad guys team. Maybe a little higher actually. But Nicky gets the ball and goes down. I think they like steal the ball actually. Goes down for a layup, like in transition, gets the ball in, and is fouled in the process.
She's fouled hard, but still made the basket.
Yep. And because the basket goes in, she gets to try one free throw, which would make it a 1-point game.
Yeah, she says her left arm is numb. But like they don't want to take her out. So the ref's like, hey, if she's injured, you gotta have someone else take the free throw, and then she's out for the game. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay. So they're like, what do we do? And then Heather says, stall as long as you can.
Heather's just here in a sweatshirt on crutches goes, I got a plan, coach. Wait.
Stall as long as you can. And then slowly crutches away. And guess what? They don't stall. Coach is like, okay. And then like Nicky takes her free throw anyway. They did not stall for Heather.
Because they were like, this is probably a dumb idea.
Plan is to like just have Nicky do it anyway. So she lines up for her free throw and she makes it. Hooray. The game continues. So the other team has the ball, but Madison steals the ball.
Madison
Go
exists.
Madison.
We've mentioned Madison like twice. She's actually a character in this movie.
Yeah, she's not a big character, but she is on the team. She's the only other like player on the team that we know pretty much. That like has lines.
So shout out Madison.
Shout out Madison.
She actually did a steal, and they took a timeout, and they got, I believe, 10 seconds left to go in this game.
7 seconds left, actually.
Oh my god, that's so dumb for what this final scene is.
They have 7 seconds left. As soon as Madison steals the ball, they time out, which is smart. So they have 7 seconds left of the game, and they are down by 1 point. So all they need are 2 points, and they win the game. Yep. Assuming the other team
any normal basket will get it.
Yep. All right. Then Heather comes back dressed in her uniform. She drops her crutches and opens the gym door and comes out.
Hobbles over.
And they start slow clapping.
Heather.
And like hero music.
Like everyone's just walking around, awkwardly watching, and then they start clapping, and it's so dumb.
Heather comes in, and the other team's coach is like, "Don't worry about her." Like whatever, it's a big spectacle. And I'm like, wow, they really did not stall for to come out. Although they're timed out right now, so Heather's like, "You did stall for me." Like no. So Heather is like, "Put me in, coach.
I'm ready to play
today." She says, "I want to go in since they're like double teaming Heidi." And it's like, I don't know, Heather. And Heather's like, "Let me be a decoy. Like, you know, you can get me the ball."
Sure, but also you're injured. There's no reason for us to believe that you could make a shot from anywhere on the court right now.
Well, they said like if you have the ball and they don't come off Heidi, you're gonna have to make the shot.
I don't like that the coach says that's actually a good idea. It's not.
It's not. I mean, it might be a good idea. Like maybe this whole spectacle of her coming out will pull one of the guards off of Heidi. Maybe.
Well, they need to guard whoever the 5th person is. Their 5th player that bad?
Yeah, they took her out for Heather.
Imagine being replaced in the final shot of this game.
This happened, like this Heather's idea happened because Nicky was injured, but Nicky went back in.
Yep.
So like, what's the point of this? What should have happened is they're like, "Oh, Heather, you're back. Nicky went in and made her free throw. Like, we don't need you."
What should have happened is Heather goes, "Hey, Heidi, we're gonna change jerseys really quick."
It's so against the rules.
But if they hide it, they're twins, and they look so alike, even though they're fraternal twins. So they'll just be like, "Okay, I'm gonna shoot," and they're gonna go double guard you, even though you're hurt.
Whatever. So like, okay, we're playing again. The opposing coach is like, "Don't worry about Heather." He doesn't know her name, so he says like her number. I don't remember what her number
30.
is. 30. Don't worry about 30. Stay on Heidi. What's her
21?
number? Stay on 21. Heather gets the ball, and okay, this is when it like starts going in slow motion. She is holding the ball as the seconds count down. Remember, they have 7 seconds.
They have 7 seconds, so it starts with that.
She's holding the ball.
She's holding the ball 5 feet back from the 3-point line, wide open. Easy like argument to just take the shot now, and if it misses, your team can either get the rebound or they can foul, and you have another chance. But instead of doing that,
she should maybe pass it though, or try to dribble it in. Like
there are a lot of good options, and you know which one she chooses?
She does Heidi's stupid foot thing.
Why?
She holds the ball. She's in place. She starts doing her little. How many times in this
movie has that worked? 0.
She's doing her little pivot ankle thing. And the seconds are counting down 6, 5. She is not moving. All of a sudden, she teleports. She's at the 3-point line.
They cut to a different camera angle after showing the clock, and she is inside the 3-point line when she was clearly outside of it earlier.
She's doing aerobics.
Must have traveled.
She's doing aerobics. Everyone's like, take the shot.
Also, I don't care that it's going in slow motion. The amount of times she pumps her heels and pumps her arms, the 7 seconds has run out.
Had to. Whatever. She travels. She makes a horrible behind the back pass. Like, Heidi has to stumble to get this.
It is a terrible
pass. It could have gone out of bounds so easy.
But Heidi saves her by catching it. The defense on the defender on Heidi is terrible. Just basically runs out of bounds.
Heidi shoots. And
it's not even a good shot. Like, let me put it this way.
It was fine.
No, the shot from Heidi is fine.
Heidi's fine.
The shot angle. Why would you, as Heather, you just make the shot?
Why didn't she make the shot?
She ran in by the basket.
She could have made a 3-pointer.
Well, she could have made the 3-pointer, but she also, when she passed the ball, was like 5 feet away from the basket, and she passed it to someone at a worse angle, like 15 feet away from the basket, who theoretically has someone on them contesting them with less time now because even more time got wasted. But the ball goes in, so no one cares.
And it was at the buzzer, so they won. Hooray. They won the championship, Benji. In the best way possible.
No, it's great. Like, it is so dumb. I love
so stupid.
People know I love dumb sport.
They couldn't figure out a better climax, I guess, for this.
It's pretty great.
They're like, we need to have like a special cool move that they do that's unique to them. So they just kind of pivot on their heels.
So dumb.
So stupid. Anyway, after the game, they see their parents, and Nicky sees her dad, and Heather and Heidi's dad apologizes for putting pressure on Heather and making Heidi go for the team. But they're like, it's okay. Like, we're happy that Heidi's on the team now. Like, Heidi learned to love it. Heather loves it. Like, they love basketball now, you know? And the coach asked the dad, like, who do you think the money player is now? And he's like, guess I have 2 of them. And he's like, sorry for being a dick earlier. And the coach was like, that's okay. These 2 girls have a bright future. And the dad's like, yeah, they're going to play college ball. And the coach was like, well, there's talk of a women's pro league starting.
I'm mad about this because there definitely really wasn't talk.
They had to throw that line in for the movie, though.
Yeah, like, I get it. But also, it's like, the coach was like, well, you never know. There may be someday there'll be a pro league.
I think he said there's talk about it.
There's talk. But there wasn't really talk at that time.
And the dad says, yeah, let's talk about the future later. See, he's turned a leaf. He's totally redeemed himself without really earning it.
I mean, it's a DCOM parent. That happens the most consistent story arc.
And he says, Heidi,
without earning.
He says, Heidi, you get to go to drama camp. Yay. And then
we cut to the future.
Okay, so the stereotypical basketball song plays. I think of SpongeBob.
Y'all ready for this?
Doesn't that play in SpongeBob?
I think it does.
Yeah, when he's dancing with the jellyfish. And Heidi comes out in a pro uniform. She plays for the Sparks. And Heather comes out. She plays for the Monarchs. And like all the lights are out and it's so dramatic. But you can tell they definitely like filmed this in the same high school gym.
Yeah.
That's why all the lights are out and it's weird. And there's like fog and shit. They see each other and walk towards each other in the very dark stadium. And there's like confetti dropping too.
Why would they do this before a game?
Is there confetti before the game? I have no idea. And then they point at each other and they meet in the middle and they fist bump and they look out in the crowd and they see their parents who are proud of them. And then they face off against each other and it freeze frames.
It freeze frames on them both looking up at the ball. It's a weird angle.
Yeah. So it's like the camera is the ball that gets thrown up and they're looking up at the ball. And that's the freeze frame. And then we get words of like, you know, this is what happened in real life, right? Because it's based on a true story. So the words say, in 1989, Heidi and Heather Burge received full basketball scholarships to the University of Virginia. Both were signed to professional basketball contracts by the Women's National Basketball Association.
I mean, that's a better explanation than, like, if you want to mention they got one in the WNBA, but you don't want to lie.
Yeah, and like...
And they're not stars.
It's cute to have them end like, oh, we're both playing in the pros and we're playing each other. I don't mind
that they do that.
Even though they never played against each other, but it's fine.
Easier to explain it this way.
Yeah, they both... I mean, it's true. They both made it. And they had their teams accurate for what jersey they were wearing based on the facts that you told at the beginning of this podcast. So that's good. So yeah, that's it. That's Double Teamed.
Yeah.
I like this movie way more than I thought I was going to.
I knew I was going to like it on a rewatch more than I liked it necessarily the first time.
I meant the beginning. I meant the first time I watched it. Like, I didn't think I was going to like it that much. I actually liked it more than I thought. And I knew it'd be fun.
And the fact that we got to see Nicky be great both on and off the court.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
I know, Nicky making every single shot she shoots and the coach being pissed at her for it. Absolutely insane.
So I have the stats.
Oh yes, it's time for basketball stats. We're gonna find out who the best player actually is.
All right. So again, I only did stats that I could see video evidence where I'm pretty confident of what happened, who shot it, and I only counted named characters. Note that Kaminka got a random like name drop in the final game, like in the final 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
And I did not go back in time to go be like, oh, that's who this person is. That's just one of the last players.
Yeah.
So whatever. Oh, so Heather in games got 29 points.
Nice.
Heidi in games got 52 points.
Well, Heather was out of the last game, so that's a little unfair.
And Nicky got 18 points within a game. However, if we include practice and games together, Heather got 53, Heidi got 79, and Nicky got 45. Their field goal percentages are more interesting to me, though. First off, the amount of missed shots in this movie. Are you ready?
There's like 2, right?
Heather missed 1 in a game and 2 in practice.
Okay.
Heidi,
does that count blocks?
Yes, blocks are counted as missed shots.
When I was saying before, I wasn't counting blocks when they because when they just shoot a basket and nobody blocks them, I swear they only miss like twice in the movie.
Yes, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Heidi makes 12 all of her 2-pointers in both practice and the games. That's 36 2-point shots. Perfect. She does miss 1 free throw and she misses 1 3-pointer, but she makes another 3-pointer. Nicky, her only miss was that 1 practice block from Heather.
Yeah. When she was caught off guard.
Yep. And otherwise, she made 12 2-pointers in practice, 1 3 in practice, 1 3 in a game, and 7 2-pointers in a game. And then for other stats, Nicky had at least 4 assists throughout the combined games and practice.
Yeah.
Heidi had 3 assists, which felt pretty cool. Heather had 1, the last scene of the movie, where she absolutely didn't deserve it. So I think she's the real ball hog. That's all I'm going to say. Heather also didn't have any rebounds, which is kind of shocking to me, especially because Heather's like the center who's supposed to get rebounds.
Yeah.
But again, they don't really show rebounds. Heidi had offensive and defensive rebound. Madison had a rebound and 2 assists and 1 steal.
And a steal.
Every character had 1 steal. Heather had 3 blocks, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Heidi only had 1. Heidi and Nicky both turned the ball over twice. Heather once. And then for field goal percentages. So I did a weighted field goal percentage. So you like if you miss a 3-pointer, that's more impactful than missing a 2-pointer, which is more impactful than missing a free throw.
Sure.
But then I also just did a basic every shot counts the same. For Heather, it's roughly 89% in both of those.
Okay.
For Heidi, in the weighted, and this is all for the combined stats. That's what I've been mainly focusing on. We don't have enough examples of just game to really extrapolate. Heidi made 95% of her shots, 97% if you don't weight it. Nicky made 95%, but a slightly higher 95% weighted. So shooting percentages wise, despite like all sample size issues and everything, Nicky's the best shooter on the team. When Nicky puts a shot up, it is more likely to score you more points than anyone else on the team.
Yeah, and how dare she not fucking pass the ball is all I'm saying.
In this movie, Heidi scored a point, 3 points in every 4 minutes of runtime. So that's roughly the ratio that we were at. The other 2 were lower because they scored less points overall.
Okay, so Nicky plays point guard.
Yes.
Do they shoot a lot?
Point guard, definitely is more of a passer. That's what like the role is. They're more of figure out, get the ball to the right person.
The coach was like, tall girl, shoot basket.
The coach is doing an effective strategy. They just aren't realizing they have Steph Curry in the prime on their team and needs to just let them shoot.
Nicky's so good. Let her shoot. Don't say, oh, but tall girl make basket.
The concept of a point guard is kind of like, hey, Nicky's gonna get the ball and decide who has the best chance to score.
Yeah.
So I get why, like, oh, you need to pass and everything. We make fun of it a lot, but like in practice, especially, it makes sense. But like, if it goes in, don't be mad.
And Nicky was your MVP last year.
Yeah.
And you're like, top scorer? Let's put you a point guard.
I got a couple more just fun little tidbits for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in this movie, we see Heidi score 79 points, as I mentioned. That is over 27% of her career WNBA total points. And in this movie, we see Heather score 53 points. You know how many percent of her total that is?
What?
883%. She only scored 6 points.
Wow. It's kind of crazy. This movie just really did not like them missing. Like,
No,
so many of the baskets were
in
made.
like a way, but I feel like in basketball you can show misses. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's the stats. I had fun calculating those.
Yeah. Sports. So that was Double Teamed. Pretty fun.
Overall,
movie.
where did we have it ranked?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even have that ready.
We had it ranked too low, that's for sure. The final rank in the house was 80.
Oh, really?
I put it at 70. You put it at 71.
Yeah, so we're a little
the
higher.
rest of our house didn't like it as much as us. Honestly, I think I would move it up after this rewatch.
We have it directly below motocross as a house.
But I think we would move both those up in our opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. What tier do you have it in? Probably like C, right? Yeah, you have it in C.
Mid C.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would probably put it to B.
I have it also in C, like lower C. But at least like higher C.
Maybe
I don't
low
know.
B.
I don't know if it fully deserves to be in B. Because, like, if I'm thinking, like, I want to watch a DCOM, am I really going to put on Double Teamed? Like, probably not. It's not bad. It's not one I always think of as a favorite. So.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fine. Mid is, like, right where it belongs. Like, maybe a little higher mid. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes. As always, we really appreciate that. We'd love to hear from you. The DCOMduo@gmail.com. Email us there. Yeah. We love that.
Yeah, check out our TikTok.
That's the DCOM Duo on TikTok.
Heck yeah.
We have a plan for the next episode.
Yeah, so there's a new DCOM coming out. We mentioned this last episode. What's it called?
It's called The Naughty Nine.
The Naughty Nine. It's a Christmas movie.
Basically Ocean's 11, but Christmas and DCOM.
So,
which is confusingly exciting.
It comes out like right at Thanksgiving, pretty much. So it theoretically can be our next episode. So we're gonna try our best to watch it, take notes, record, and release it that Monday after it comes out.
We are not fully confident with the whole festivities of Thanksgiving
weekend. Literally Thanksgiving weekend. So we'll see what happens. We are going to spin the wheel for this episode. And either this movie that we're about to spin will be our next episode or it'll come out after the Naughty Nine. We're probably just going to record it ahead of time and have it as a backup.
Our next episode will be episode 30.
Yep.
And then 31. That will be the movie we spin here and Naughty Nine.
Yeah.
In some order.
Yeah.
One other thing I'd like to mention. In between those two episodes, we will have our next mini-sode where we're going to be ranking the last 10 DCOMs that we watched.
Yep. Adding them to the big list that already has 20 movies,
and also doing some fun little gimmick in between.
Yeah, we haven't decided.
Last time we did movie reviews.
That was funny. That was pretty fun.
And the one before that we did drafts. So that's fun. If you have any thoughts about anything, we'd love to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think we're ready to jump into the DCOM Duo Wheel of Destiny.
Oh, Wheel of Destiny.
What movie do you think it's going to be?
Den Brother.
Oh, Den Brother could be fun. I think it's going to be Read It and Weep.
Ooh. Right, spinning the wheel.
It's Can of Worms.
Can of Worms. Oh, baby.
Oh my gosh. That one's crazy.
I think this is the highest ranked DCOM we were going to have done for the
Yeah,
podcast yet.
like from our list. Yeah.
Wow.
No, not in the general public. Like
In general public, I don't think this is a liked DCOM.
I don't know if people have even heard of this DCOM, but it's crazy.
You ever heard of aliens? Well, you're going to after this, and they're weirder than you can imagine. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother can of worms. So see us next time for probably not that movie.
Probably Naughty 9, but also possibly Can of Worms.
Yes.
And if not Can of Worms in 2 weeks, in like 4 weeks,
Yes.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. That'll be a hoot and a half. And maybe another hoot.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening.
Follow our social media.
Goodbye. Scenes from our next episode.
Hello, I'm Naughty.
And I'm 9.
And we together
Are the Naughty 9. Merry Christmas.
Santa's been a naughty boy.
We're gonna steal your shit.
We're gonna steal all of the good stuff and somehow end up on the nice list because this is Ocean's 9.
Christmas.
Also, Mike Pillsbury.
Also, fellow citizens of the galaxy, my name is Mike Pillsbury, and I would like to get off this planet, please.
I don't belong here. I am obviously not one of these humans.
Come and get me.
Oh, Barnabas, you barked. Way to go.
Barnabas is a dog and also my best friend. And he can talk.
But he can't talk normally. He has like light up lips that he wears on a collar. Black Worms is a weird movie.